basement. Put my foot on the pavement. In my dream I was chasing, while my girl waited patient. Spent a lifetime on this music shit, going nowhere, I was losing it. She was right there enduring this, while her folks like, why she doing this? But Shawty didn't care what nobody said. She was gonna ride to the day I'm dead, stay by my side when the others fled. So I'm convinced that she deserves it all. She believed in me when chances were real small. I picture me driving a foreign. Can buy. Her beauty represents me well. She loves me and others can tell. Her heart is where my love would dwell. Talk about her man and she would rebel. I ain't ashamed, this ain't a game. She was right there in the storm and the rain. Endured the pain and the financial strain. Now she gon' shine with the fortune and fame. She gambled her life for me. She sacrificed for me. She deserves it all. It's only right, you see. No matter the price, you see. I picture me driving a foreign. Me driving the front and now my history is changing. She's my day one and there is no rearranging. She's had my back through the times when things were straining. Now she benefit from every cent I'm gaining. Listen to what I'm saying. No dividing, no compromising. She gon' ride while I keep on climbing. Just recognize we gon' keep on thriving. She believed that I'll see greatness in due timing. I picture me driving a foreign. My shawty, she riding the passenger side. She riding the passenger side. 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was there from the beginning. She was there in the beginning. There in the beginning. She was there in the beginning. Me driving in the beginning. Foreign with my lady.
Hey, 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 good afternoon, good evening. It is Monday night. I know the football game's on, but y'all need to tap in tonight. Man, we got a show tonight that's going to be off the hook. I cannot explain how blessed I am to have my brother in here with me tonight. It's going to be incredible. I want to say thank you to my sponsors. Like always, we got 702 Braids for you. Cindy Michelle out there doing her thing. Man, it's nothing like getting your hair done the right way at the right time. Drop in on her website. It's just a www.before702braids.com, and you got it. Go ahead and drop her an appointment. Look at all the hairstyles she has. Catch her Instagram, too. It's loaded, man. It's loaded with all the fresh cuts. I think I'm letting my hair grow back out so I can pop these braids in a couple of more weeks. Maybe about a month. Maybe at the end of the year I'll be ready. All right, and then we got Red Run Mobile Beauty Salon. That's my girl Jamisa out there doing her thing, making the other half of Las Vegas good, because 702 Braids for you got the first half. I'm just saying, okay? And then we got my little sis out there doing her thing with Bougie Girl Vegas. I'm telling you, she keep me blinged up, looking good. And you get on her site, the earrings, the bracelets. It's all, man. She just keeps upgrading, and it's just looking really good. Check out her site. Just go in to Siri or anybody and ask them for Vegas, Bougie Vegas. Man, you got it right there. Then I got my brother and my sister over there at the We Mentality. You know, that's them Wards. I love Brandon and Tiffany Ward. They out here making some changes. If you want to see your business rise to the next level, I would really get in touch with them and tap into what they got going on, because they're changing the face of how especially African American businesses, because sometimes we just don't get what we want and we'll go spend that money somewhere else. But when the service, the quality, and everything is going up because they've been trained by the we mentality, you're in for a great surprise. Get your business and tap into them and find out what kind of package they have to come out and help you reach that next level of success with their training and everything for your teams. And then last but not least, my partner right here, Tyrone Thompson. I think he's still out of town. I was trying to get him to go to the game with me yesterday, and he said it was out of town. But that's Las Vegas Lighting Company. Absolutely amazing work they do. Tap into their website, and you'll see that they got lighting that goes around the top of your house, down your stairs, all kind of things to just lighten up your room and take it to the next level. You ain't got to buy a $400,000, $5,000 house to have all that nice stuff. You can hire Las Vegas Lighting, and they'll come in and do it, and you'll believe the price is going to be right on time for you. Just either mention Life Coach Curtly or mention Living Your Best Life Show. And you know what? You never know. You might get a 10 to 15% discount because you said you heard it on here, right here on Monday nights at 8 p.m. But I'm telling you, I am so excited. Yesterday, I was blessed. I always tell you guys that life is about, and I learned this from another partner of mine, Shundell Newsom, but he said real, R-E-A-L, in capital letters, and then relationships. Real relationships is what makes the difference. I just want to give a shout out to my brother, Tony Gladney. Man, he blessed me yesterday. We was at a conference together on Saturday. We blew these kids away. They were so well-mannered for 3 hours. It was called, as part of the, what is it called? My Brother's Keepers Foundation. That was put on a great show on Saturday. Man, it was incredible. We had almost 250 kids up in there, well-mannered, wanted to be there, listening and asking great questions. We went to 3 o'clock. We were supposed to be out of there too, and them kids did not waver. They never got loud. They never got out of line. They were soaking up that knowledge from people that looked just like them. All your brown and black brothers was there, and it was absolutely incredible. I'm still just really, really in tune to that whole afternoon. It was absolutely incredible. So, Tony, thank you, brother. Love the game. We lost, but it's all right. We'll be there for the next one. Plus, we just lost the coach as well, but that's a whole nother story. But I'm here tonight with my brother, okay? Mr. Jeff Jones, other known as Jazz Mataz. That's the man. Bring him on in, my brother. Yes, indeed. We about to get started because, I'm trying to tell y'all, tonight you're going to hear some things. You're going to learn some things about two young guys back in I think it was like 93 or 94 when we met. Yeah. And we just grew up here in Las Vegas, both of us military guys, different paths that met. That's the crazy thing about it. Our paths went in two different directions, and then it came back together right before my man got ready to retire. So that was the blessing that we all still had the same mindset and give back to our community with the sacrifices that we make with our own families to help other families and then proceed. I got right here on the mic with me is Jazz Mataz, Mr. Jeff Jones. How you doing tonight, my brother?
Hey, what's up, Kurt? How you doing, baby?
Man, blessed and highly favored, and blessed that you're here tonight on the mic with me.
Thank you for having me.
Man, I'm telling you, I think I'm looking at 332 guests that might be on here listening to us. So don't think it's a million people yet. I haven't got that many, haven't got to that status yet, but we're going to act like there are a million people out there.
Got to start somewhere.
That's it. So how you been, man? You good?
Man, I'm fantastic. If I was any better, you'd be making a citizen's arrest because it'd be against the law.
Outstanding.
Yes,
You sound like
if I was any better, you'd be putting me in cuffs.
See?
Because it'd be against the law.
That's it. I tell him, hey, if I get any better, I have a twin.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm living my best life.
Well, yes, you are. You on the man. Let me tell you, I'm slightly jealous, but I know I'm gonna get there. But you out there, man, just living your best life, traveling, doing what you want to do. Ain't nobody controlling your time but you,
right,
other than the wife and the child. But other than that, I think
I paid the cost to be the boss.
There you go. So tell us a little bit about your journey, man. I just want to know a little bit about where we started at, yourself, and how did you get to where you are today. And then we're going to stop for a minute and focus on that, and then we're going to keep going. But don't forget, I know a whole lot of stuff. You know I'll be doing my homework, so I'm going to add some things in there as you keep going. So go right ahead.
No, so, they call me, I'm Jeff Jones. A lot of folks know me as Jazz in the community because I just used to hang out and do my own thing, and I always kind of put a little flair to it. So I gained a name by a guy named Lenny Pender back in like the 7th grade.
Okay.
Started calling me Jazzy Jeff, and then it kind of just took off from there. But I went to Rancho High School.
Okay.
Was athletic, played a few sports. Didn't really plan to go to college, and I ended up, going making some mistakes and catching a case, and that case eventually put me in a position where I had to make a choice to go either to the penitentiary or go to the service. And of course, I ain't built for the penitentiary. I couldn't see outside, so I said, man, my brother was in the service, so I kind of knew what that was like, and you get a check, so okay.
Yep.
I'll take the service for 100.
I'll say that's it exactly. I hear you, baby.
So went to the service to kind of buy some time.
Okay.
And right around, and I was a great soldier, man. I was a great soldier. I enjoyed it, but I knew I wasn't a lifer just because I was just trying to buy time. I wanted a little more freedom. And when you're in the service, as you know, you basically on call every day.
Yes, sir.
So you got to pay your dues in terms of that. But so right around the time, well, I'll say this: I had a lot of friends in Vegas, but the one friend that sticks out that made an effort to keep in touch with me was Lou Collins.
Yes, sir.
We called him Sweet Lou Collins.
I
And,
keep telling Lou I got to get him on the show, man, but he's so busy. But maybe now he done seen you that came on, I can get that extra plug and have my other brother on the show.
Right. No, Lou, man, we used to keep in touch, and we used to write snail mail to each other.
Right.
Back before there was the internet, we used to write snail mail and just check on each other because he was going to Grambling State, and I was going to I was in the Army, and I would go visit him every now and then.
Okay.
I would go visit him at Grambling, but I was just kind of trying to find my way.
Right.
And right before I got out, maybe about a year before I got out, Lou started asking me, "What you plan to do when you get out?" I said, "Man, before that, I had been on the corners and trying to do my thing like every other foolish young person in the valley." And I decided, man, I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do, Lou. I said, but I'm probably gonna go back to doing the same thing I was doing, because in the service, I don't know if the folks know, but there's no real understanding of what's happening in the real world, because you're isolated on a base, and it's a whole different kind of lifestyle. So I told Lou I planned on going right back to the community, back to the neighborhood, and doing the same thing. He said, "Have you ever thought about going to college?" And I was taking a couple of classes at Central Texas College at the time, but I was doing it more or less just to get out of other stuff. Get out of police calls and details and stuff like that. So I said, I got to go to class tonight, so I can't go to that.
Right.
So Lou talked to me about it, and I was like, wow. I had never thought about it, but then what Lou did was sent me the application to Grambling State University.
See, that's real.
Yes, sir.
That's real right there,
sir.
man.
Yeah, he saw something in me, man, and he said, you ever thought about going to school? No, I hadn't, and so I used to go visit, as I said. Then I started, when he sent me the application, I was messing my money off in the service so bad because I was in them streets, man.
Right.
Even though I was in the service, I was in them streets. You know how that is. I come in right before formation with my uniform
655.
Yes, and reporting for duty. But I had been out all night.
Right.
And so I messed my money off, and so Lou actually paid the application fee.
Wow.
Now it was only $5, but he still paid
it.
You understand what I'm saying? He could have just when I sent the application back to him for him to turn it in, he could have just discarded it because I ain't had the application fee. But he paid the application fee and made sure that it was, got sent through.
Wow.
And I continued to visit, and I started to forge relationships at Grambling before I entered the university.
Okay.
So by the time I enrolled, I had a few people that I knew that were what they call big men on campus.
Okay.
But I was a freshman, but I was a grown man, so I was kind of no nonsense.
Right.
And so, man, I sat back one time. Before I entered Grambling and before I even did the application. I sat back when I was visiting one time, and I was in my car just watching the folks move and how they move, and shirts and ties and overcoats, and people would with book bags
Big
and
briefcases and everything. Yes,
I
sir.
said, man, I can do this. I need to be here.
Yes.
You know, this is my kind of stilo, you know. And so, man, we went ahead and did it, man. Lou and I became roommates in college. We did a lot
wow, that's great.
we did some special, we began to do special events there because Lou was already doing them.
Right.
We had done them in Vegas, and it became kind of like how we kind of like hustled our money together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we were known for doing special events in college and doing. We used to do events because I know you're in a fraternity, right?
Right. Yes, sir. Phi Beta Sigma.
So we used to be so well known for our events that we used to have sororities and fraternities call us and say, "Man, don't do no party because if y'all do a party, we can't do no party."
Because ain't nobody
Because
gonna
ain't
be
nobody
there.
coming. And so we always had the Vegas flair with it. You know, we used to have cocktail waitresses with black and white on, and,
Yes.
and bartenders with black and
Showtime.
white on.
Yes.
So that's all we knew was
Right.
the hotel casino industry and how they would matriculate. And so somebody said they can't hear. But that's what we did, and I was so afraid to fail at Grambling that I made the dean's list every semester until I graduated. You know, so
Excuse me. Alex, can you cut up the mics a little bit? We got people saying they can't hear us. Thank you, brother. Go ahead now.
yeah, so I was so afraid to fail at Grambling that I made it my business to study. I wouldn't go to no parties before I studied.
Okay.
You know, sometimes it'd be a block party right outside my window, and I would make sure that I was studying and get all of the lesson before I went downstairs to those parties because I was just so afraid to fail because it was my last. This had to work.
Right. This had
You
to
know,
work.
I didn't make a career out of the military, so this had to work.
Right.
And so Lou was my guy that used to encourage me, man. Lou was my guy that used to encourage me to make sure that I studied and make sure that
Okay.
I did everything I could to be a good student, but also a good citizen. And I adopted the philosophies of Grambling. And Grambling State University, the motto is Grambling State University, where everybody is somebody.
Right. Okay. Everybody is somebody.
Right.
And you made a change, so you transitioned. You went to Grambling. I always see you flying back there for any kind of events.
Yes, sir.
Then you came out. You graduated from college. Then what did you get into?
Well, prior to leaving college, I had a mentor by the name of Keith Rhodes. Keith Rhodes
Okay.
was a guy from Alaska that was the director of the Methodist Children's Home. And that's where I started to intern. When I started to intern there, then I started working with kids, and I was what some people in the business call a natural.
Right. Okay.
It's just some things that we have a gift for.
Yes, sir.
And some people sing and dance, some people tap dance. What I do is I nurture kids that are at risk and underserved. So, and I have a niche for that because I was one of those kids. So I know what they need and I know what it takes to be successful because I became successful. So those connections that I made right away just kind of like were empowering to me.
Okay.
And I was able to just help a couple of kids. And it was a place where I was able to give back, but also learn about, dealing with people at the same exact time. And so when I graduated from Grambling and I came back to Las Vegas, I started working part-time at Department of Juvenile Justice Services.
There you go. Okay.
But prior to that, I was working at the airport as a guy that collected the money at the toll booth, right?
Right.
And I just felt like my life was just going down the tubes. I felt like I wasn't using my education.
Right.
And
exactly.
and I said, you know what, man? And that was a full-time job. I said, you know what? I'd rather work part-time and make a difference than work full-time and sit here
Okay.
and collect money. It just felt like I wasn't making a difference.
Right.
But what inspired me was the fact that folks I didn't have that kind of help when I was a kid. I looked for help, and nobody was there to assist me, and I had to kind of make my own way and figure out my own way. That's why I ended up, on the corners and trying to sell, dope like the other people that was lost.
Right.
But I was able to redeem myself and make a change, and Grambling State University changed my life and put me in a different direction, put me on change the trajectory of my life. And when I started working at the Department of Juvenile Justice Services, then I was working with kids, and I felt good about it. Felt good in the community about it, and it was just a feel good kind of a job, and it was a career. You know?
Yes, sir. That's a difference in the job. We
Trust
had
me.
that career going.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I got the career going, and next thing you know, I was awarded probation officer of the year, and I was acknowledged by the county commission and the National Association of Juvenile Justice Administrators.
Okay.
And I was one of the first blacks for that to happen to in the state of Nevada. That's you talking about 10 jurisdictions in the state of Nevada.
Exactly.
Also, later on, I became a supervisor and was at Spring Mountain Youth Camp. I went to Spring Mountain Youth Camp twice.
Okay.
And I started there as a probation officer, but then I went back and became a supervisor and ultimately became the director or the manager over at Spring Mountain Youth Camp. And I was the first black manager in the 60-year history of that facility. So I've been the only black manager, probably they call it minority managers in the whole history of the place.
Wow.
You're talking about a 60-year history. So we were able to do a lot of things there, like graduate kids that wouldn't otherwise graduate by working with the school district and focusing more on GED and high sets.
Right, exactly.
Focusing them primarily on their graduation rather than other parts of the curriculum.
Okay.
And we did that by cooperating by a cooperative extension with the school district.
Okay.
And shout out to my man Josh Katz, who's the principal over at Spring Mountain Youth Camp, because without him that couldn't have been possible. He and I put our heads together and we made it happen. And with my team at Spring Mountain Youth Camp, we were able to graduate about 25 kids that wouldn't otherwise graduate because they were off track in terms of their
credits and everything.
Credit
right?
deficient and not going to school. And one of those kids happened to end up in the Chef Jeff Project.
Yes.
And he was able to be a benefactor of that initiative, man. So I'm grateful that we were able to help him, and we told him about the fact that because we gave him he left his diploma up at Spring Mountain because he left early, he was released early. So when we were able to give him his diploma, then the young man cried, and he made a speech about how he knew that he wasn't going to school on a routine basis, but I knew he had the aptitude to do it because some of these kids are really smart, excuse me, but they just need an opportunity, and everybody does, and we know this, that everybody doesn't learn the same.
Same way, right?
Yeah, I'm auditory, and if you show me something 2 times, I can probably duplicate it.
Right. That's it. And it's funny you mentioned the Spring Mountain Youth Camp, and growing up, we used to do what we do out of shades, having a good time. But we was grown then, because most of y'all never knew my first name was John, because everybody called me Chief.
Right. Yep.
Lou still called me Chief.
I still call you Chief.
Still call me Chief. And that's a blessing growing up in our community. But understanding the fact that we had to come home and do something more greater than ourselves and get into the positions where we can start making some changes in our community.
Absolutely.
And I'm so blessed. I just missed you. I think I got your last 2 years before you retired, and I wasn't a part of the WIOA team that I am now that goes up to Spring Mountain. But let me tell you, every Thursday, everybody say, Kurt, you drive up that hill so fast, you just be running to get to them boys. You just don't know the love that they give you when you coming up there, giving them knowledge, getting them ready to get out in the world and work, giving them some standards and some consequences behind not being the best you can be every day. Man, It's such a blessing, man. I was doing it for free, and then they created a position so I can get paid for it, So I'm on both sides. I'm on the advocacy side and the workforce side. And, actually I got to go up and see a couple of football games, and, they feel so, what's the word? They just feel like somebody believes in them when you come up and just trying to help them succeed. Not only succeed mentally, but just understanding that we love you, man. Every time I tell them boys, when they get ready to walk out from one of the class, I'll give them that hug and say, I love you, man. Just understand how much I love you, and that's why I come up here every week.
Right.
and that's a good feeling. We was in that conference, and one of the psychologists was talking about, you know, it has to be a shift where men start telling boys and men that they love them. It's not a feminine thing.
Absolutely.
It's a heart thing that we
Right.
forget about. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm telling you, you done did it all, and both of us are engaged in the Chef Jeff project.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we do what we do over there, pick boys up, take them wherever they need to go home or
Oh,
whatever.
Yes.
But I think they're doing a real good job over there. Chef Jeff, thank you. Thank you for all you do for me or add me to what you're doing. And I truly appreciate that lane that you're allowing me to be in
Right.
to help make a difference. It's truly a blessing.
The Chef Jeff talks about you all the time. He's an amazing guy. Got away with kids in a way that I've never seen in my 27 years,
Yeah.
almost 30 year career of working with youth that's at risk. I've never seen somebody that has the kind of touch that he has in terms of dealing with youth. And it's his own kind of like approach to it.
Right.
But he spoke very highly of you in terms of being there and being an advocate for the youth and making sure that they get where they need to go on time and waiting for them and making sure that they have a ride back to and from where they got to be when they have to report.
Yeah, and you know the funny thing you say that, and I'm gonna say this because I didn't even realize it until I got to talking to more people that have previously been incarcerated and the struggles they have coming back into the community. And with this Department of Labor contract we have with the WIOA program, that's what they pay us to do is get these kids ready for reentry. So when they come back into the community, they come back with a different frame of mind.
Right.
Yeah, they still get to make choices.
Right.
Be honest, you know.
Absolutely.
You're not gonna save them all, but if I get that one, and that get to two, and then the next one tells somebody else that, man, we got to stop doing what we was doing because it's where we're gonna really end up. And you get three. You know, I go to bed at night and I lay my head on my pillow and I just be blessed.
Right.
I truly be blessed the way these kids react. These young men react to the way we bring life to them.
Oh, they can tell exactly when somebody cares and when somebody acting like they care, when somebody doing it for a check, and they will tell you, you're just doing this for a check.
Yes.
You know, but they know, they respect when you tell them because they can feel the emotion, and the emotional attachment is like it's energy, right?
Yes.
And energy is
Energy.
transferable.
Yes, sir.
And so when you walk into a room, kids know or people know that, you know, if you're being sincere, if you're not being sincere. So,
Right.
you know, it goes hand in hand. Some of these youth are sharper than we think they are.
Yes, they are. You know, I mean, and it's just that they just never had that structure.
Right.
You know, like most of them come from single family homes. Don't even knew. I know we was talking in the back the difference between growing up in the projects, but kicking it with the guys that live in the
house.
neighborhoods
Yeah.
that got two parents in the house,
Right.
and seeing that,
Right.
it kind of help you make some changes, but you still don't change until you're ready.
There you go.
And that's the thing about it. But at least you got a vision of what it can be in the future.
Right.
I just got to make the right steps and the right journey to get there.
Right.
All right, I'm going to get off that one because I want to know because, you know, time go fast on us, man. It be moving up in here because I don't like taking no breaks. So you made that journey. Last year you retired.
Right.
I'm trying to keep up with every state you be hitting. I'm glad you hit some of them often, so I ain't got to put another check mark, you know, because true partners, and I believe me, you know, we go through this journey in our life, and some people we don't have to talk to every day.
Right.
We see them on Facebook or everything, but when we get together, you know, it's genuine love, and that's the way. I'm going to be honest, you, Lou,
Right.
Red, all of us that used to run
Yes, sir.
together,
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes,
and
sir.
then me and Lou used to live right around the corner off of Washington by El Dorado. We
Yeah.
lived right around the corner from each
Okay,
other. Used to
okay.
kick it every once in a while. He lived on the back street right behind mine.
Right.
But it's always a pleasure to run into the fellas. Now, you know, well, shoot, we see each other at Cork and Thorn and everywhere else.
Yeah.
It's just what we do, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, man, it's a blessing to grow up here in Las Vegas and see what we've all evolved into. Everybody didn't make it,
Right.
you know, and we still there for the ones that used to run with us that didn't make it, and we
Right.
got much love for them.
Right.
They just got to, you know, take a look at themselves and get that fear or get that disrespect of themselves and flush that out and come on and let us help you get to that next level because we don't leave nobody behind.
Right.
You know.
One thing that I'm proud of, I'm really, really proud of this, and I want people in Las Vegas to know this, especially the West Las Vegas and North Las Vegas communities. I'm proud of how we nurture one another, and we praise one another for our accomplishments and how we get behind each other and support one another, because it's so important that when you're feeling like you're out there by yourself, for somebody to be cheering you on and tell you to keep going and,
Yes,
and
sir.
recognize what your gifts are. The Bible says that your gifts will make room for you, and so it's just so important for us to be recognized for those gifts, so we know that eventually that our hard work will pay off. And I've seen a lot of folks like Ty Gucci and my man
Right.
Zach Walker and Polly Mack and Larry Smith. I've seen a lot of folks, man, with different types of talent that have Terry Wade, people that have grown up in the community that have gone in different directions but have become kings in their profession.
Exactly.
Kings and queens in their profession.
Exactly.
And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that.
You know, and you know, even though it's another conversation, you know, me and Lawrence are real close, and our kids play football together, and we look at how much we give back to the community, and sometimes we don't think our kids are where we want them to be yet,
right.
but that's because we love them so much and gave them the easy road, because I don't know, Malik and them didn't struggle,
Right.
Javon didn't struggle, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Oh,
And
yeah.
so when we look at where we want them to be, it can't be our vision. It has to be their own vision, and we just support them to do what they want to do and be where they want to be.
Right.
We had a long conversation about that, and it really made sense to me because we've been doing this for a while, man. I mean, through my fraternity,
Right.
Sigma Beta Club,
Right.
and then at the bank, speaking in schools for 27 years,
Right.
and then getting involved with youth advocate programs,
Right.
teaching financial literacy to foster kids when they exit the program because they don't have them skills, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And then them calling me back and say, Kurt, are you retired or semi-retired? Well, I'm saying I work when I want to. Well, we want you to come work over here then.
Right.
And that was a blessing. And I've been there 3 years now, man, working with these kids. And, you know, it's so great to get back into community because sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, Jazz, you know, when we get up there and we making, you know, living a certain kind of life, we tend, and I'll be honest, we tend to forget about other people that we don't have to have direct contact with.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I'm not proud of that,
Right.
but getting back to YAP and getting in these single mamas' homes and seeing the struggles they going through and all these medicines they putting these kids on and
Right.
things like that. No, man, you got to get out there and help.
Right.
And that's the blessing because you remember I had a stroke and then I was in the hospital, bad kidneys and all that. But God has blessed me to take my health serious enough that I'm still here. Because I remember asking God one time, why you give me 2 chances? And he said, because your work ain't done.
Right.
And I see why, because
Right,
he got
right,
me working, but
right,
it ain't
right,
work,
absolutely.
man. This is my
No,
life.
You know what I call? You know, Lou and I call it. Sweet Lou and I call it. We say this ain't hard work; it's heart work.
Artwork, yes,
It's
sir.
heart work. So you have to have a heart for this type of work.
Yeah.
Chief, I'm calling you Chief.
Yeah, that's
you know,
fine.
you know, but John Kirtley don't sound right to me. Chief sound like your stature. That sound like how I met you. But
God
as I
bless
was
you,
saying, yes, sir. God bless you. But it's hard work, and you know that because if you sitting in the parking lot waiting on some guys to finish a program, you got to have a heart for that.
Yes, sir.
You can't just sit out there knowing that okay, I could have been somewhere else. I could have been on a date. I could have been at a movie. I could have been anywhere else in the world. But I'm choosing to be outside this program, waiting for these young men and young women to come out of the program, so I can make a difference in their lives.
Right,
And
exactly.
it's nothing like helping people. Everybody, you can't live in this world by yourself, you know.
No,
And
not
so
at all.
I had a call the other day from another radio station that a grandmother was in distress because her grandson had been involved in an armed robbery or had allegedly been involved
Okay,
in
okay.
an armed robbery. And so she wanted to know basically how to navigate through the juvenile justice system. And I was just happened to come out the gym and listened to the call, and I text messaged the personality on the radio and let them know that I would be more than happy to kind of walk them through, you know, what would happen in terms of how it would happen, just the protocol, because I'm what you call a subject matter expert in that area.
Exactly.
And so I felt 10 feet tall when I was able to get this woman on the phone and calm her down and calm that anxiety that we have from not knowing what's going to happen and not knowing what the court date is going to be, and not knowing how long they may be detained, and not knowing what the options are, and not knowing, do we need a lawyer or whatever. And then I was able to get her daughter on the phone, the parent of the child as well, and calm her anxiety. And then this morning, the mother, I didn't ask her to call me back. I told her she could call me if she had questions, but she called me back this morning and said, Mr. Jones, everything that you told me is how it happened. So that made me feel great about not just giving them the right information, but being able to help them calm down a little bit, because anxiety can kill you, man.
Well, look at here, that's right. Yes, sir. And that's that feeling. It's a feeling of satisfaction, but it's a feeling of I'm giving back to my community.
Absolutely.
Because everybody don't know how this process, and if you don't do it the right way, it can go left real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been in enough juvenile courts right now. I can see it go left just from a parent acting a fool.
Just from a parent acting a fool. And sometimes, let me tell you this, I'm real frank about it. Sometimes the anxiety will have you come out of a bag of come out of your character, because you don't know the right questions to ask. So you feel like you need to act out and get that negative attention, when you need to just take a breath and find out what the protocol is, and is this normal, and who can I talk to that can teach me more about this process, and that way you can kind of navigate a little bit better through it.
Right. That, you know what I call that? Don't let your emotions outweigh your intelligence.
Right, absolutely.
Because that's what happens, because it's an out of body experience, because this is your child.
Right.
And they talking about taking your child and putting them somewhere different or something like this.
Right.
And it's a hard journey.
Right.
Okay, enough about that. I want to know, somebody special in your life just had a birthday. Go ahead and tell me. And my question is, I know your daughter just had a birthday.
Right.
And tell me about the passion about how she's going to be growing up and how you keep it all together. So, how we do. We've been blessed. I mean, we have been blessed. Our kids haven't been out there doing what they don't need to be doing, because we keep them so close.
Right.
And I mean close. I mean, through high school, my son couldn't take 2 steps.
Right.
I'm right there.
Right.
So go ahead, tell us about your beautiful daughter.
No, man, my daughter is Kyla. And
yes.
And Kyla is the only child, after we had one, then I found out that they cost a lot of money.
Yes, they do. You sound like me. I only got one.
So I'm like, okay, I like nice things. I didn't grow up with nice things, and I want her to have nice things. So we're gonna compromise, and she's gonna be the only child.
That's it.
And so she just had her 18th birthday. God bless that.
Wow.
And
18 years.
she's
already.
a great child, great student, 4.0 student.
Yes, sir.
We don't know. I was trying to gear her towards Grambling, but I'm not gonna force her.
Right.
I do want her to go to an HBCU, but we
Yes.
also have the option of a couple of different schools because of her aptitude and her citizenship.
Yes.
She's involved, very involved, and so we're hoping that she'll be able to choose the university that she wants. Right now, she's still looking at Prairie View and Alabama State.
Prairie View, okay.
It may be a last-minute thing that she decides that she wants to go to Grambling State University, where everybody is somebody.
That's it. You never know.
Right.
Might do a few years here and finish up over there, or go to grad school there or something like that, but you're going to get her there, I'm sure.
I got the 1901 shirt on right now that represents Grambling State University.
Yes, sir.
Established. Yes, sir.
And, okay, so through your journey
Yeah.
in the streets, military, college, civil servant, working probation department and everything,
Yeah.
what do you think the 1 or 2 unique skills that you possess that helped you achieve your goal through life's journey?
First thing is I'm a great communicator.
Okay, outstanding.
I'm a great communicator, and I'm a great listener. And that's part of communication, but
Yes,
also observation. I watch everything around me, and I watch it in a way that I like to joke a lot about this. They pay me to pay attention.
Okay, exactly.
See, we have a thing in law enforcement called sight and sound supervision.
Right.
So you're trained to watch everything around you all the time, sight and sound.
Okay.
So I've mastered it, and so a special skill set that I have that's beneficial to me in all walks of life is my sight and sound supervision, but also my ability to communicate my thoughts. And I'm kind of an acquired taste because I'm the guy that's gonna give it to you straight.
Exactly.
No chasing. So there's a couple of people that's probably still in these streets that don't want to hear from me. But it's a whole lot of other folks that love me and support me because of that, because they know that I'm 100 all the time.
Right. Now, you ain't even talk about being an author and writing and things that you do, what else you do. And it was funny. I went to the house before I came and went in there to do something and to grab your book. I still have the book you gave me, 4 or 5 years ago?
Right, yeah. Yes.
Go ahead and tell us about that.
Well, I wrote my first, I'm a poet. I consider myself a poet, not necessarily.
sir.
Well, I am a writer because I write some other stuff too, but I'm a poet first. And I started writing poetry like in the 5th grade. Excuse me. It's my first love, and my primary language is poetry.
Okay.
That's kind of how I think. I think I'm what you call a hopeless romantic. So I think in poetic prose mostly. And so I wrote a book when I left college. I wrote a book called Poetic Voices.
Okay.
And that was a collection of poems that I had written over a period of time. But then also I had written a book in 2011 called Poetic Chronicles, which I chronicled a series of events, sequence of events that occurred during that time. And that's covering stuff from President Obama being elected to Haitian, what do you call it? Not volcano, but the thing that they have when the ground shakes. What's that called?
Earthquake. Yes,
Haitian
the Haitian earthquake. Yeah.
To-
Did you do a little bit thing on the Rodney King thing that happened too?
I didn't necessarily do it. I do a lot of like what you call social, socially conscious poetry.
Okay.
And I call myself Jazz Mataz, the last political poet.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't mind going in on the politicians and the politics of life.
Politics,
Right.
okay? Because that's what they will trick you if you ain't paying attention.
Exactly. So and I think that somebody needs to say something. Like right now, it's funny because and then also my man James Allen, aka Spody Mac,
Right.
and I wrote a series of children's books together. And I think he's still writing that series, but I kind of lent it all to him because I was in the midst of writing another poetry book. But we were very successful in doing that. And shout out to James Allen.
Outstanding.
But yeah, just continue to write every day and kind of and one thing that I try to do is I try to send things out into the universe that will come back to me. So I want to write something that inspires somebody
Yes.
so much that they forward it so many times that it comes back to me at some point, and that has happened
There you
a couple
go.
of times.
Yes.
So it's humbling for that to happen because, man, to inspire somebody just through your words is a big deal. I
Yes,
think,
sir.
and I'm a word guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so back now I'm going fast forward to retirement.
Right.
Other than the word freedom, what would you call how you feel being retired now and just able to do you and not have to worry about nothing else?
Liberated.
Liberated. There you go.
Liberated because, some days it's surreal. You wake up and I haven't put myself like some people that's retired. I'm young. I'm just 54.
Right.
So, but I planned it that way, and people don't understand that if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail.
Yes, sir.
So when they told us initially when we got hired at the department that, hey, you could retire in 20 years, and if you're 50 years old, then you could retire with a decent retirement.
Right.
And it goes up from there. Then I was listening.
Yeah, that's it.
And so I had only planned to do 20 years and move on to something else because I was a promoter at the time. I was writing books. So there were some other aspirations that I had at the time. And so when that time came, I got promoted not once but twice, and
Okay.
and I ended up becoming a division manager, and the only black division manager at the department.
Okay.
And so, when you look at things from the perspective that I look at things, you can't just say, "All right, I'm out.
Yeah.
My
No,
time
no,
is up."
No, no.
See, I'm trying to pave the way for other folks behind me, so
Right.
I have to be an example of what that looks like.
Okay.
And so I recruited and tried to create a succession plan for some of my brothers and sisters behind me, and I did that for a couple of years until pretty much I ran out of gas. And you know how you wake up one morning and say, "You know what?
I'm done.
I don't feel like going in today." And I've never really felt that way. So I knew it was time for me to sit
Right.
down, and I had given as much as I was prepared to give. I believe that there's probably a void in the department because I'm not there.
Okay.
I was able to do a lot there. I was able to create the harbor logo, and I was looking at one of your pictures, and there was a sign behind you that had the core values. That's my
Upstairs.
work.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
yes,
my work. So
yes.
uh,
Up at Spring Mountain.
yeah,
yes.
up at Spring Mountain. So
yes.
and I got posters of family engagement all over the department, and there's Hope at the Harbor signs all
Yes.
over the campus. So my legacy still lives on.
Outstanding.
But I put a lot of work in there because, like I say, it's something that comes from my heart and not something that I'm doing to try to get somebody to recognize me.
Like you say, it's hard work.
It's
Nah.
hard work, absolutely.
That's it. And now, you know what? I'm going to borrow that from y'all because people always ask you, why do you do it or how do you do it?
Right.
I do it because it's what needs to be done. And some people just have to step into those shoes.
Yep.
But now I can tell them, well, it's the difference between hard work, and what I do is hard work. You figure out the rest.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes, sir.
it.
Yes,
That's
sir.
it. Okay, so how can listeners contact you? You got email, you got on social networks. What you got going out there so they'll know if they need to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm Jazz Mataz 1000 on Instagram, and I'm Jazz Mataz on Facebook, of course.
Yes, sir.
Then, of course, if you want to email me, then I'm Jazz WLV. That's Whiskey Lima Victor for those of you that are in the service at gmail.com, and Whiskey in West Las Vegas for you that's on the street corners.
That's it. That's it.
Jazz,
Representing.
JazzWLV at gmail.com.
If I'm thinking right, didn't you used to write for one of the papers on the West Side, the Sentinel or something?
Very briefly,
Okay.
I used to write for the Sentinel.
Yeah.
But also prior to that, I had my own news magazine called the West Side Underground News.
That's it. That's the one I was really talking about too. I remember that. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Yeah.
Straight to the point.
Yeah. and-
No sugarcoating up in that.
Right. And that's kind of how I kind of found my voice in terms of the neighborhood. Folks started to say, "Man, it sounds like you talking to me sitting on the porch, man."
Exactly.
And they appreciated me writing. I had about 6 pseudonyms. I didn't tell people till years later, but I was writing in about 6 different voices at the time.
Okay.
And people seemed to appreciate it, and that's what inspired me to write, my poetry books.
Okay.
Because I said, listen, if they listening to me on this platform, then they'll definitely listen to me when I'm
There you go.
when I'm packaged the right way.
Right, exactly. All right, so this is the fun part because we almost winding down.
Okay.
So these questions we gonna share. Okay, so these are the fun questions I call them. If you ever seen my show, you know what I'm coming up with. But so what's your favorite word to describe yourself, Jasmine Tass?
Jazzy.
Jazzy.
See, and the reason that I say that is
Okay.
because of the fact that, see, you can't be called jazzy if you ain't jazzy.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? See, I got my hat tipped to the side a little bit. And I got my 1901 shirt on, representing Grambling State University, which also creates a little mystique about what is that 1901. So that's a conversation
right.
starter.
That's a conversation starter. Outstanding. And most people don't know the meaning when you take the word jazzmatazz. It became its own genre.
Right.
And the guru back in the day, because I'm a jazz guy.
Yes, sir.
I listen to me some jazz, and we got Jazz Masters 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
But taking jazz and actually inserting a hip hop overtone into it to make a certain genuine music. And if
Right.
people don't do their history, they don't know things like
Right.
that. But that's your swag that you carry, and you carry that name well, my brother.
Thank you, man. It's funny that you say that because the brother that actually started to call me Jazz Mataz is a guy named Sleepy that was a barber.
Right,
And-
Sleepy, yeah.
And every time I used to pop into Hair Unlimited,
Yep.
during the time that I was writing the Underground News,
Yes.
he used to call me Jazz Mataz, Jazz Mataz, Jazz Mataz, and so I started to use it as a pseudonym when I started to write the books.
Right. And people don't understand, if they not from here, we all went to Hair Unlimited.
Right, exactly.
That was our barbershop.
Yeah, that was the cornerstone of the community.
Yeah, okay, if you lived in North Las
Right.
Vegas or wherever, that's where you drove to get your
Absolutely.
hair
Yeah.
cut.
Oh, yeah.
Smokey up in there, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was the days, boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, here go the next one. What are you not too good at, if you could be modest?
Wow. I'm not I'm not good at drawing. I'm not good at art.
Okay.
Now my brother was an artist.
Okay.
He and his friends used to come by every Saturday and get butcher paper and put it all over the table.
Oh,
and
okay.
create these elaborate drawings, man, with like the Hulk and Spider-Man.
Oh,
and,
okay.
all these Marvel characters, right? And that's how I started kind of like writing poetry. I wanted
Okay.
to get in my own lane because I wanted to contribute some kind of way. I wanted to have something unique about me that they like what they had.
Right.
And so it bothered me for many years that I can't draw a circle.
My issue is I can't say no, man.
Really?
I have trouble when somebody asks for something or need help with something, and it's like being in the circus. You can only have certain people in your circus
Right.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
you this ringmaster, and I've gotten better over the years,
Yeah.
but I just hate letting people down, man.
Right. Yeah.
That's it. I hate if I got a way or know somebody that can help you. Let
Right.
me hook you up.
Right.
I might not be able to do it myself, but I know a lot of people, and somebody else can help you out. So that's my biggest issue.
No, that's a great thing, man. See, I have the same issue, but I use this phone. This phone
Yeah.
is my superpower,
Yes.
and
I
I might
guess I ain't gotta ask that question.
I might not I might not say to you that I could help you directly, but I can get somebody on the phone
Right.
in 10 minutes and say, 'cause I know people that have many talents.
Yes, sir.
And the one thing about life, man, if you're credible,
Yes.
then people want to help you. People want to be a conduit to your whatever it is that your cause is, because they want to be able to tap into that energy that of helping people and and doing hard work,
Yes, sir.
even if that's not what their forte is.
Right. You're exactly right. We see it all the time. If you was a type of food, what would it be?
A chili dog with cheese,
Now tell me.
and I would eat myself.
Tell Tell it dog with cheese. I'm gonna tell you. Saturday night, I was blessed enough to have dinner over at Chef Jeff's kitchen,
Uh-huh.
and he got that. What he call what? Institution salt.
Institutional chicken.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you. We must, man. I think everybody in there ate 15 pieces of that chicken. Everybody
Wow.
rubbing their stomach like,
Chef
I'm
Je-
so full.
It's funny because Chef Jeff, man, he's my guy. He's my guy, and so sometimes he'll just post something, or he'll send me a text message with some kind of food on it to try to get me to come down to the kitchen. Since I kind of been moving around and on hiatus from
Right.
the program, so he'll try to do something like send me a piece of pie or something to lure me down there because he know I love to eat.
Man,
So
what
you
is
have to be
that
careful with him.
Yeah, that cheesecake cream pie,
Yeah.
man. I had a piece of that too. That was dessert.
Yeah.
No, outstanding brother over there, man. He doing it for us.
Yes, sir.
Last question. If you could switch lives with somebody for 24 hours, deceased or alive, who would it be and why?
Wow.
Yeah, that's the cliffhanger right there.
Yeah.
But it's only for 24 hours,
Well, it'll probably be Sweet Lou Collins, and here's why.
though. Okay.
Man, the brother, number one, he's similar to me. He's a guy that I call like
Yes.
when we're trying to help people, because he's a resourceful guy.
Yes.
But because he's done so much good, then so much good happens to him. The good fortune happens to him. Most of what I've done in my life, I've had to work really hard for, and I've mastered working hard. So what I've seen people give him gifts just because it's his birthday or because it's Tuesday or because I like your smile or I like your energy.
Yes.
And so he has a way of just being that people seem to appreciate him.
Yes.
And typically what I tell my man is that if somebody don't like you, then they got a problem with themselves because everybody pretty much loves Sweet Luke.
Yes,
you know.
sir.
But if I had that opportunity, it would probably be him so I can get some of that good fortune for at least 24 hours.
At least 24 hours. I ain't mad at you, man. And that's so true. Watching him grow up here when they was over there running the Pearson Center and everything like that. I mean, I just love the way we've all just stayed so connected, man. And, you know, I think I'm the oldest out of the group because I'll be 57 this year.
Yeah.
You just a couple of years behind me.
I'm 54.
Lou.
And Lou just turned 54.
Yep. So, you know, and I came in in the middle of y'all's live. I wasn't here with the young part because I was in North Las Vegas and back and forth, but you know, it's just a blessing how people bring us together. Man, I'm telling you, Jazz, it's been a pleasure. And let me hit these sponsors one more time before we get out of here.
Sir, make sure.
Hey, 702 Braids for you. Cindy, keep doing what you're doing. Cindy do all my shirts for me. She just really supports what I stand for and backs me up whenever I need help with anything. And hats off to you. You number one on the list. I tell you that's for sure. And then I got the We Mentality. They're doing some amazing things. You got Brandon and Tiffany Ward. And then I got Jamisa over there at Red Rum Mobile Hair Salon. Hey, keep doing what you're doing, sister. I know you've been through the storm a little bit, but guess what? Rainy days only last temporarily. Everything going to come up and be in your favor because you good to God, and he going to be good to you as well. And then I got my Bougie Vegas. Oh, my little sis. Love you, chocolate. You do what you do. Hey, keep me blinged up, but get on her site. Say Life Coach Kurt or Living Your Best Life in the promo, and you get 10% discount off your order. So go ahead and check her out. The site is incredible. And then last but not least, I got the Lost Bathing Lighting, Tyrone Thompson and Tabitha. You guys are my inspiration. You know, y'all just so good for each other, and it's a blessing to be a part of y'all's life. And looking at how much you've grown over the years, and just growing up with you, Tyrone. I know you 10 years younger than me, but man, we've been hanging right there because you know I always think I'm 10 years younger than I actually is. That's my problem. But it's just a blessing to have you on here tonight, Jazz. Man, when I called you and rang the bell, you say I can't be here there because I'm gonna be in Atlanta or somewhere else. But give me a date when I get back, and you locked it in, and I truly appreciate that,
appreciate
man.
the invite.
Oh, definitely. As I always say, folks, we here every Monday night, 8 p.m., living your best life with Life Coach Kurt. Hey, tap in with me if you need some help with anything, you need some guidance, or just like Shannon did, if you need somewhere for your kids to get some advice, be around other positive young African-American men and boys and girls, we got the places for you. Just tap in with me. Hit me up at lifecoachkurt.com or at gmail.com. Plus, it's up there on the screen. Hey, and if you're feeling a little bit great tonight, my Cash App is up there. Keep us on the air. I know I got these beautiful sponsors, but, you know, we want to just keep it. I like to pay for the year ahead of time and things like that. So don't forget your boy. If you like our platform, make sure you tap in with us every Monday night at 8 p.m. Stay blessed and highly favored. God bless.
A 9 to 5 again, I'm back on my grind again. I'm not trying to find a friend, don't pretend. Niggas wasn't fucking with me, niggas wouldn't come and get me. Got myself up off the ground,